Hi, and welcome to Don't IEP Alone. I'm Lisa Leitner, and I am going to be your host on this journey through IEP land. Some of you may know me. I've had a blog for, I want to say almost 10 years. I think we started it in 2011. The site is called adayinourshoes.com, which has blossomed into just more than I ever thought it would be. We also have a Facebook group called A Day in Our Shoes, or IEP Assistance from A Day in Our Shoes if you want to look me up. But one area that I thought was lacking is that there are no podcasts explaining to parents how to navigate the IEP process. So here I am. Knowledge is power. The IEP process is absolutely overwhelming, and you need someone to explain it to you. So whether that be online reading or webinars, workshops, or hey, even a podcast, that's what I'm here for. Tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Lisa Leitner. I live in southeastern Pennsylvania. I could walk to Delaware if I had to. I'm that close to the state line. I am way down in the corner where Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland all meet. And it's considered suburban Philadelphia, and I love that city. I love Pennsylvania. I've been here all but 2 years of my life and have no intentions on leaving. I have a husband, met him in college 20-some years ago. I forget what I think we're on our 23rd wedding anniversary. What year is it? 2019? I don't know. We have two boys, Brian and Kevin. Kevin is my child who was born with disabilities. He's my older child. He's currently 12 years old. And what had happened is when he was a toddler and starting preschool, which he was exiting the 0 to 3 program and starting a special needs preschool, that preschool sent home a flyer for a training workshop. And it was 12 Saturdays all day long, 8 to 4, 9 to 5, something like that. And it was for 12 weeks, and it was to become a special ed advocate and to take the special ed advocacy course. And I forget what all the flyer said as far as describing the course content. And it wasn't cheap. It was $2,000, which is a lot of money to a lot of people, my family included. But Kevin, like I said, that was newly a new 3-year-old. And so I said to my husband, hey, let me do this. Let's do this. Let's find the money, because he is a young child, and we're going to have 20 years ahead of us of this. And even from the beginning and his transition to preschool, I knew that it was kind of a complex system, and that it was something that you really need to study and learn. So we did it, and I took the training and enjoyed it, learned a lot, met some fabulous, fabulous people, many of whom I'm still friends with today, and some of whom I hope to have on this podcast in future episodes, because most are still working in the field somehow. Some as advocates, some as therapists, working at different nonprofits, leading nonprofits. So they're all doing these fabulous things, and I hope to have them come on and share their wisdom. But anyway, I took the training, and as part of the training, we had to complete some volunteer hours. I don't remember how many, but we had to do volunteer advocacy with an agency. So I did my volunteer advocacy with my local ARC, and I met more fabulous parents and just parents who were overwhelmed, and they knew they needed help. And really from day one, I've always said this about all the parents I meet. And that is that most of you come to me with nothing more than a gut feeling that something isn't right. Your child's needs are not being met. You know something isn't right, but because the IEP process is so overwhelming and confusing, you don't know how to proceed. And that was evident really from the very first client I ever had. And it was a mom who just knew that her kid was not being treated well, but she didn't know what to do, so she came to the ARC. And the rest is history, because also during that time frame, we were in a recession. If you remember how awful that recession was 8 to 10 years ago. And so I found myself out of a job, and I had a lot of time on my hands because I was out of a job. So it worked out, that my agency then was hiring. So I got hired on there. and, the volunteer hours, then getting hired on. And then another advocate in that class with me, she wanted to start a blog, and I already had a blog. So I said, great, let's do that. And we started A Day in Our Shoes together. And 6 months in, she said that she didn't want to do it anymore, which was fine by me. I was disappointed, but I wanted to continue on, and I have. Also, very early on in that blogging time period, I realized that parents were finding my site because they were going online, in somewhat of a panic, looking for information. And I could tell by the search terms that they were using to find my site, I could tell that this problem is widespread. And even though I live in the metropolitan Philadelphia area, where we have more advocates and family attorneys, and there's a lot of help in this area, which is great, but a lot of areas of the country don't have a lot of assistance. So parents were finding my blog, and I just realized that the potential was out there to really grow. And so here we are, all these years later, 10 years after the start of the blog. I'm starting a podcast because I realized that there's nothing out there, and a lot of parents just want to drive to work and have this information delivered right to you, in your ear, and have me tell you what to do. I can always direct you at the end of each podcast, where to find more information. If you need downloads or printables, or just to read more information, find more information, I can always direct you back online to find more information. But we're going to basically go through all the different topics and situations that come up with our kids. I've also been on the board of directors for several nonprofits related to kids with disabilities. One in Philadelphia, one that was national. Trying to think what else. I was named Advocate of the Year in, I believe, 2013, maybe 2013. I don't know. I have a picture of my certificate online somewhere. And I currently chair the Chester County Right to Education Task Force, which I will explain. That's only for Pennsylvania people. Only Pennsylvania parents really need to know about that. But I will explain that in a future podcast. And that's been fun. But I've done that now for 3 or 4 years, and I'm getting ready to bow out of that. So that's a little bit about me, and I hope to get to know a lot of you. I hope that you visit the site, adayinourshoes.com. You can visit the Facebook page, and there's a Facebook group. I'm sure if you just get on Facebook and either search for Don't IEP Alone or A Day in Our Shoes, you will find both. So stay tuned. I'm excited for this.